Hey traders, checking into the cryptocurrency space. We had the bears come out and take out 44,000 support starting weekly consolidation. Is the bull run over? Where do we go from here? So we had a weak day in stocks today that helped drag down the cryptocurrency space. Daily downtrend confirmed on the S&P 500 futures chart, which means weekly consolidation is underway. And essentially the way that it played out is we had a bunch of altcoins start their weekly consolidation. Then the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ overnight, their futures charts started weekly consolidation. What time did that happen? That happened at about 4, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. It got convincing. Nice backtest and rejection. Missed that. But that happened hours before Bitcoin. So every time that names started weekly consolidation, it just increases probability that Bitcoin is going to break bear as well. So I have stopped out of my swing trade attempt with the confirmation of the daily downtrend and confirmation of the weekly consolidation. And that means I'm giving up trading and I'm done for good. Just kidding. It means I stop out. I take the loss. It's my first crypto loss in a while because it's been a bull market and I've been picky. And essentially, I gave back the profits from playing the Three Musketeers over the last couple of weeks. So it was more risk than normal for a trade to give myself the possibility of more reward. What about the conference that is starting tomorrow and the potential of any rumors? Price action matters more to me. So if I stop out and I hit a stop loss that is setting the amount of risk that I'm willing to take, then so be it. The lesson is a week is a long time in crypto. I should have been looking to buy today for that potential rumor. So that's A-okay. We'll see what tomorrow brings. If there is some kind of announcement, really at this point, being cash in the crypto space now, what I'm looking for is if there is a headline with Apple and Bitcoin in it, I will buy bull. And it will be more of a day trade. It'll be the kind of trade that if it happens, I would market buy. I would sell half the position into that initial bull move to have my break even lower than where I entered, and then see how much follow through and how much volume and what the actual news is if that were to happen. So essentially it just shifts it to being, maybe I'll make a couple day maker if it were to happen as opposed to a couple week maker. So gave back some profit. And again, for me, that just means back to all cash and now patient, because now we're looking for weekly higher lows. And some point that I'm driving home in my stock videos that obviously is related to crypto as well, you should have different perspectives based on different time frames, whether you're bull or bear. It's fine if they all align in one direction, which happens at times. But for example, I am bearish Bitcoin on the 4-hour and the daily time frame because they're in downtrends, and I am bullish on the weekly, scouting a weekly higher low because there's a lot of space for that weekly higher low to form, and even more so on a bunch of altcoins. So now it's all about the weekly. It's the same thing in the stock market. We just had a big time 3-week plus bull run. What does the weekly retracement size look like? Is it healthy? Do we see weekly trend changes confirm on the names that need it? Or do the bears completely take back over from here? So we had the FOMC minutes reaction today. Definitely brought some volatility to Bitcoin. That happened right here. But in the end, you can see where we're trading. It didn't matter at all. We're playing the zoom out game. We are in an hourly downtrend. Look at the hourly EMA 12. It has rejected the price a bunch over the last 24 hours. And it's coming back into play. If we reject from it again, we're looking back down at our low of 43.1 thousand. The next support level after 43.1, the next major level is 40.5 for me. But we're playing the zoom out game. If the bulls can change the hourly trend in their favor and get over EMA 12, we zoom out to the 4-hour and we scout a 4-hour lower high. If we can change the 4-hour trend back to the bulls, we zoom out to the daily and we scout a daily lower high. So we'll do it one time frame at a time, but right now the bears have absolute complete control as long as the hourly EMA is resistance. As far as RSI levels, yes, the hourly is beat up, but it's not a back burner. We've seen hourly oversold before. The 4-hour is not a back burner. We've seen 4-hour oversold before. At this point, we're really looking towards 12-hour oversold conditions. But again, I am back to patient. I have no rush to be jumping back in any positions, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on the weekly consolidation that is taking place. The dominance chart is bouncing with the crypto space dropping. Again, that is the most common scenario as to how the dominance chart has bounced over the last year and a half plus. And we're watching for a weekly higher low to try and form here, but we would need a big enough bounce to create the space to set up a daily trend change back to the bulls if a weekly higher low is going to be set. And again, we care about this pattern a lot. You can have trend lines as a visual guide, but me, it's the percentage levels that matter more. You can make an argument that it's a falling wedge. You can make an argument that it is a descending triangle. Each are associated with breaks in different directions. If the market environment were to remain as most common as it has been in the last year and a half, crypto bulls really want this chart to break bear. Because more often than not, probability-wise, if this chart were to break bull, the only way that happens in a bullish environment is Bitcoin news, in my opinion, that has everybody focus on Bitcoin and pour their money into it, and the dominance chart shoots up as the crypto space shoots up. In the absence of that, this chart breaking bull would likely mean that we're pulling back significantly and that alts are pulling back significantly as well. For example, if, again, it's a big if because I do not have enough information, if Bitcoin were to be a monthly bear flag, which is a possibility, if that were to be a monthly bear flag, that is one way that this chart could break bull. With crypto or with altcoins dropping a lot more significantly. Those are the only two ways that this chart would break bull. Monthly bear flag on Bitcoin or Bitcoin news to lead to a Bitcoin-centric pump. If it breaks bear, it's because crypto is bullish and altcoins are going up faster. Or bad Bitcoin-specific news. All right, Ethereum. Daily pullback. We've lost the daily uptrend. Big bear volume. Weekly consolidation is underway. Again, retracement size. It's the same. We're doing the same thing as the broader market. We fluctuate based on who's leading and who's lagging from one day to the next. But as far as the weekly setups, Ethereum and the S&P 500 are the same charts. So the weekly consolidation, we're watching retracement size. We're watching the zoom out game. 4 hour stair step pattern, lower high every single candle for the last bunch of candles, trying to get a bounce going. This is for first 4 hour oversold conditions for Ethereum since 2400. So aggressive bulls are watching for a bounce from this range. But the hourly EMA 12 is a clear cap on the price for the last 24 plus hours. ETH BTC, still a strong daily uptrend, looking for a daily higher low, EMA 12 support, 4 hour, got towards oversold conditions, falling wedge, shaping up. Looks like it broke bull with no follow through. Originally, I would have had it drawn like this. So maybe that falling wedge is less clear now. That downtrend support line is definitely valid. But we need to see a 4 hour bounce and a 4 hour trend change back to the bulls if we're going to set a daily high or low. Bigger picture, could this be a monthly lower high? If the Bitcoin dominance chart is going to break that year-long equilibrium bull, this is going to confirm a monthly downtrend. Keeping an eye on it, it is a head and shoulders. Just like Bitcoin may be a monthly head and shoulders. All depends on the retracement size as to what this weekly consolidation looks like, and it all depends on the broader market. The broader market right now, the S&P 500 has two directions it's going to go, obviously, but they're so distinctly different. We're either going to confirm a 2-month bull flag to all-time highs, if the bulls can keep this weekly consolidation healthy and see continuation, then a 2-month bull flag will be looking at all-time highs. If this weekly pullback is not healthy and the retracement size is 50% plus, we have the possibility of confirming a monthly downtrend on the S&P 500 with a lower high and lower low for the first time since 2008, which is obviously extremely notable. Those are two very different paths that we're going to take the second half of this year. So people making predictions, if that works for you, great. But man, I am not making predictions. I'm not trying to guess which of those two paths we're going to go on. I'm going to get information every single day that is going to help inform me of the probability of those two scenarios taking place. And the most important puzzle piece for me in that probability equation is weekly retracement size. And you can say the same thing about a lot of crypto names as well. Luna. So Luna has a stair-step pattern on the weekly, high or low every single week, 7 weeks in a row. Probably not going to break this week because we have a lot of space to work with. Daily, we did have a little bit of a rising wedge there that broke bear. This is the 4-hour. So rising wedge broke bear. And I don't have a ton of clarity on the daily. I can see the next support level is 98.51. 2-day time frame, is that more clear? A little bit. 2-day EMA 12 has been holding for weeks. It's just a question of, are we going to shape up weekly consolidation or not? We've got space for a 12-hour lower high to be the result of the next bounce. Real aggressive bears are going to be watching for 12-hour lower high there, but they need to ensure that Luna BTC sees weakness. This is a key level for me of 239, because if we hold 239, all-time high is in play. But if we break 239, the double top at all-time highs then becomes more convincing and potential for a weekly tightening range at that point. 12-hour potential head and shoulders. If I'm a bear, if I'm an aggressive bear, I'm keeping an eye out for Luna to see if both pairings give me a 12-hour lower high next bounce. And we would have to lose the 12-hour uptrend on the BTC pairing for a bear to be comfortable. ADA, bear break on the daily after that double top. Really a triple top. So weekly consolidation underway. Again, these names are three musketeers. We've got the weekly retracement. Very key. How much retracement are we going to see? Right now, it's still healthy. 382, potential weekly bull flag. Do we pull back more than 50%? We must confirm a weekly trend change. The moves that we saw were falling wedge bull breaks. It was just bear exhaustion. So, okay, an imbalance. We had the scales tilted too much on one side. The bears got greedy and it flipped. So now everything's sorted itself out and the scale is rebalancing again. Can the bulls ensure that they keep the scales tilted in their favor by changing the weekly trend for the first time in a long time? What's that? 7 months? Something like that. So that's going to be very key for any altcoin that has not confirmed a weekly uptrend. It's put up or shut up time. You got to prove it. Prove it, bulls. Otherwise, bears are going to walk all over you. It is a potential inverse head and shoulders. And again, there's a ton of these setups in the stock world. So left shoulder, head, here's our neckline, double top neckline. Can we form the right shoulder and confirm the trend change? And another sector that's in a weekly head and shoulders. Let's go with XLF is trying for one. IWM's not clear. It was XLF and there was one other one. Gonna forget. A lot of the Chinese names are trying it. Baba, little weekly inverse head and shoulders attempt. Again, just a massive prolonged downtrend. Great bounce. Little mini short squeeze. You've got to prove follow through with the trend change. That is the theme for all altcoins that are coming from weakness. They've had great bounces the last month. Can they keep it up? ADA BTC is a double bottom. So the BTC pairing is stronger than the US dollar pairing, which bulls like to see. But same thing here. When is the last time that we saw a little weekly uptrend? It was back here. So there was our bounce, higher low and higher high. Can the bulls do that again? And obviously we want to see both pairings confirming weekly uptrends if we're going to have confidence. So what would be happening on the dominance chart? Again, this is how all these charts interrelate with each other. If we're going to confirm weekly trend changes on these weaker altcoins, what would happen on this dominance chart? It would be breaking bear. Because we would be very likely seeing a strong crypto environment, Bitcoin bullish, but altcoins going up more significantly if we're going to confirm those weekly trend changes. VET, weekly consolidation underway. Don't need to repeat myself, but it's the same thing. It was a nice falling wedge. Nice big bull volume. Do we set weekly higher lows and see continuation? What is our retracement size? Can we confirm the first weekly uptrends that we've seen in the last 7 months? And the BTC pairing is the same. We have not had a weekly uptrend in the BTC pairing since all-time highs. And the bulls are attempting to change that. It's going to be very important next month here as we watch these weekly trend change attempt to shape up. We haven't started weekly consolidation on VET BTC, but next time we do. Sol. So Sol with a waterfall drop from that high. Again, the super stack overbought on the daily fired. So following through significantly from that. The weekly, same deal. We have not seen a weekly uptrend since all-time highs. If this monthly higher low is going to go anywhere and not just be a bear flag, we must confirm the weekly trend change. It's just a weekly inside bar at the moment. The BTC pairing, same deal. Both need weekly trend changes. One note on the back burners. So hourly back burner went off on Sol and we bounced 4% plus. And what is key about that? We know in our strongest uptrends, hourly oversold marks daily higher lows. So the fact that we rolled over to a lower low tells us, red flag, this is not our strongest bullish environment. And again, the way to play this, at least the way I play it, is play an oversold bounce, exit partial, put a stop under the low. If it's the daily higher low, I nail it with a swing trade entry. And if I stop out, I don't lose $1. And I get the red flag that this is not your ideal bull environment. So that obviously happened there. Now we're heading towards first 4-hour oversold conditions. We came right up to it. Just be aware that it's obviously a different market environment now with Bitcoin in daily consolidation. Obviously, when you're in breakout mode, the buying of the dip and the back burners are a lot more confident than if Bitcoin is in a downtrend. So at this point, there are still some 4-hour oversold bounce plays to be had out there in altcoins that have been stronger and have not seen 4-hour oversold. But again, it's just not your ideal scenario. Doesn't mean it won't work. It just, when I rank probabilities, the probability that Sol would bounce from its first 4-hour oversold conditions would be much higher if Bitcoin were hitting its first 4-hour oversold conditions at the same time. It's not. It's hitting its second 4-hour oversold conditions. So it is not your ideal scenario. It's your less than ideal scenario. Maybe that means I'm more picky and I wait for a lower RSI level before I start scaling in. Maybe it means I'm more picky and my scale in positions have more space in between them. Maybe it means I use smaller position sizes comparative to my ideal scenario. Again, there's just varying degrees of back burner probability. Your absolute ideal scenario is blue sky breakout. So we know we're not absolute ideal if we're not in blue sky. There's just varying degrees on the way down. And Bitcoin's looking towards 12-hour oversold if this weakness continues. Honorable mention to Sand. I'm still watching this wedge. I might be watching it for another 3 weeks. Who knows? But the Metaverse names will get their turn here eventually. Scouting the monthly higher low, EMA 12, falling wedge. Not in any rush to do anything. Not going to buy weakness. Just keeping an eye out for if this pattern gets real tight and tells me, hey, pay attention to the Metaverse names because they're going to get a break sooner rather than later. And I like the Sand clarity more than the Mana clarity. Mana is similar, but I like Sand better. Yeah, definitely like Sand setup better for clarity. All right, that's where we stand. Bears are in control in the short term. We'll see if anything comes out of the conference, keeping in mind, if we don't get anything Apple related, it could lead to a little bit of weakness in response to that. Why? Because anybody that is positioning for that potential might say, oh, not the headline I'm looking for, market sell. But we'll see where we stand as we head into tomorrow afternoon. It's all about weekly retracement size. We got a downtrend resistance line to be keeping an eye on here. Only 2 points, so not enough to have a valid downtrend support line. So bears win in the short term, all about the weekly charts in stocks and crypto. And again, I am now trading less. I had conviction. I had conviction 3 weeks ago to be a bull, more so in stocks than crypto, but it bled into crypto as well. So I was bull, 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 making money, green, 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 16 green days in a row. And now that has changed. So am I going to keep trading in the same style? No, if I did, I would give back a lot of my profits. I've given back some of my profits on the year, enough for me to say, okay, pump the brakes. That cycle's done, went well. Now take a step back, trade less, wait for clarity again. I had clarity 3 weeks ago. I kept it going as long as I could. The market environment shifted into weekly consolidation, broke the win streak. Here we are. Feel free to ask any questions, do good things. Appreciate you watching.